Most people don't choose the wrong friends, they drift into them through proximity, through convenience, and just being around. And that drift can cost you everything because the people closest to you have the most power to destroy you. Not your enemies, your friends. Let me show you what I mean. I'm Che Lee, this is Move Different, and let's get into it. I've been making my way through Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, and he does a really good job of telling fascinating stories to make his point. And there was this one story on friendship that I have not been able to shake. And it's really not about power, it's about something way more personal than that. It's about what happens when you trust the wrong person. So it's 19th century Byzantium. And there's a young prince named Michael III. He's young and he inherits the throne early. He has power, wealth, and the whole empire, and he's lonely, which honestly, it makes sense. I mean, being a young emperor sounds cool until you realize everybody around you wants something from you. So Michael bonds with this young stable boy named Basilius. Now the book describes him as rough around the edges, which is a polite way of saying that he was mad that he worked in the stable, which honestly, I get it. I mean, I feel like that's probably a rough gig. But Michael sees something in him, potential. So he goes all in. He promotes Basilius from stable boy to general, and then from general to co-emperor.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
From shoveling horse manure to the richest man in the empire. And they become inseparable, drinking buddies, day ones, like literally bros. Michael gave this man everything. And that was his mistake, because that's not a glow up, okay? That's a whole resurrection. But then something changes. Basilius gets comfortable. Then he gets greedy. So Michael asked him for some money back that he had loaned him. And he said no. The man who has nothing now has more wealth than the emperor, more loyalty from the army, more allies in the Senate. He looks at the man who gave him everything and says no. Michael's best friend had outgrown him. And instead of being grateful, Basilius felt entitled. That's how it goes. You give someone everything and then they start acting like they built it. Now, Basilius really must have felt the way about Michael asking him for money because he murders him in his sleep. That's right, shanks him to death and takes the throne. The stable boy who owed everything to Michael becomes his killer. Now, just think about that. This man went from the barn to the throne on Michael's back, and his thank you note was a dagger in the night. Greene's point is sharp. Michael didn't lose his empire to an enemy. He lost it to a friend who was never properly vetted. And he gave unchecked power to someone based on loyalty and love without ever asking, who is this person really? And what happens when they don't need me anymore? Now, I'm not saying don't trust your friends, and I'm not saying that one of your friends is gonna stab you in your sleep. At least, I hope not. But look, if Rico would have been vetted better, Money Making Mitch would have lived to see another day. If you know, you know. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. Examine your friendships, because the older I've gotten, the more I realized some of my friendships weren't chosen. They were inherited. Neighborhood friends, school friends, work friends, people who just ended up in my life and stayed out of habit. And habit is not the same as alignment. Proximity is not the same as purpose. Some of y'all have people in your circle who aren't pushing you forward, they're just there, taking up space in a seat that actually matters. Here's the uncomfortable truth. There are two types of friends in your life right now. Friends by choice, people who you looked at and said, I want in my corner, and friends by circumstance, friends who are just there because they've always been there. Both need to be evaluated, not coldly, not transactionally, but honestly, and ask yourself, does this person make me better? Do they challenge me? Do they respect me? Do they have character I respect? Or are they just comfortable? Because your life is too important to hand a co-emperor title to someone who's not been properly vetted. Michael III didn't pick a bad friend, he picked a convenient one. And he never stopped to ask the hard questions until it was too late. I love this picture, by the way. Look at your circle, not with suspicion, but with intention. Choose your people on purpose, or life will choose them for you. Because the company you keep is directly connected to the life that you live. Don't live on standby, move different. If this hits you, subscribe and let's keep going.